Mr. O'Malley, as you know, this week, the SEC will likely get new leadership. The incoming chair will inherit issues that have significant consequences for the swaps market, like the clearing rule. What are the outstanding questions that warrant the chairman's immediate attention before the industry is able to fully implement the rule in time for the deadlines next year? I'll give you a nice question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, we're pretty confident that Mr. Atkins is going to be able to hit the ground running as an experienced SEC commissioner from a previous role and colleagues around him to support him. The SEC is very focused on this rule and will and should be able to address this in a very reasonable and immediate way. There are a couple of SEC changes that we would recommend. There's some issues around inter-affiliate rules, some accounting rules to really make this effective. There's some more information in my testimony that could articulate that, but we need them as a partner in terms of the implementation to make sure that they approve the various rule books for the DTCC, CME, and ICE, which are the competing clearing houses. They need to make sure that the rest of the rules are there to facilitate clearing and encourage it. They've been very good up until now. The goal of all of this is to make sure we have deep and liquid markets. We also need to make sure that we have the delivery of cost-effective clearing, and that also includes cross-product netting solutions and operational changes that need to be implemented. And then on the industry side, working with them to make sure we have the appropriate timetables to implement the operational changes to integrate clearing and custody and the legal agreements to support the various clearing regimes that are going to be made available.
Turning to you, Dr. Lang, I continue to urge the regulators to permanently exclude U.S. Treasuries from the supplemental leverage ratio and the enhanced supplemental leverage ratio. Near riskless assets like Treasuries should not be a balance sheet burden to hold, like our current regulatory regime treats them. Would you expand on your written testimony? Should the regulators change the SLR or ESLR much like they did temporarily in 2022?
Thank you for your question. I do believe the capital requirement that is not risk sensitive should be adjusted. I would support excluding reserves at the central bank, which are riskless. I have not supported excluding treasuries because they have interest rate risk. Also, I think it's important to adjust, but not in a way that would reduce the total amount of capital. So Bank of England and the ECB have used different formulations, but they have adjusted these SLR ratios in ways to not penalize holding riskless assets while at the same time not reducing capital.
Thank you. As Ag Committee Chairman during the implementation of the Dodd-Frank swap regime, I understood the value of gathering perspectives from a wide range of stakeholders. Mr. Whiff, as former chair of TMPG, how important is it for the Treasury, the Fed, the SEC to engage with industry? Why does the market benefit when all parties collaborate?
Thank you, Chairman. The view on this is that every important moment, critical moment in the development of the Treasury market has involved exactly that, which is a public-private work where the industry can sort of lay out the problems, regulators can address it in a more practical way. So whether it be the original initiation of clearing, the expansion of that, what we see today from the SEC, all of these things are evolving. I think when we go through some of the important moments over the last several decades, whether it be the flash rally, whether it be the all these events, that the industry and the regulatory community have addressed these issues and have come to very practical solutions in some cases. TMPG in 2008, following obviously the global financial crisis and an incredible amount of settlement fails. And settlement fails obviously are one of the key accelerants to issues during times of stress. Settlement fails create counterparty credit risk. Counterparty credit risk creates a series of events and liquidations and serves to accelerate issues. The TMPG put in place a fails charge, which actually reduced fails by 90 or 95%, settlement fails. Also, over time, following the flash rally, the Treasury Market Practices Group worked together with the Fed to lay out a series of maps that serve to highlight where there were potential points of failure in the clearance and settlement system of the U.S. Treasury market. And many of the things that we've seen that have come out of the SEC have leveraged some of that work to really identify where those problems are and laid out end to end. And I also think that when we think about the Treasury market completely, and we talk about liquidity, liquidity really is certainly obviously the ability for buyers and sellers to meet in large size and move positions when they need to. The other part of this is that finality of settlement is critical, and the robust clearing and settlement structure, which is only enhanced by further central clearing, is incredibly important. So if we think about all the major events and major enhancements we've seen, they've exactly gone down that path, which is input from industry along with practical outcomes from the regulatory community.